Cristiano Ronaldo, Portugal's captain, has played in 5 FIFA World Cup tournaments between 2006 and 2022. More World Cups than Pelé, more than Diego Maradona, the same number as Lionel Messi. Across those 5 tournaments, FIFA's official statistical archive confirms Ronaldo has scored 12 goals, captained his country in every single match he has played, and remained one of the most consistently dangerous attacking players in the competition's history. Ronaldo has never once reached a World Cup final. This is not a small statistical gap. It is the single most significant absence in the World Cup record of one of the 2 or 3 greatest players of his generation. This video does not set out to diminish Ronaldo's career. His club achievements, his Ballon d'Or count, and his longevity are not in question. This video asks a narrower, more specific question. Why, across 16 years and 5 tournaments, has Cristiano Ronaldo's national team never once made it to the final match of the World Cup? And what does the data actually say about why? Cristiano Ronaldo made his World Cup debut for Portugal in 2006 in Germany. FIFA's official records confirm as a 21-year-old already established at Manchester United. Portugal reached the semi-final of that tournament, FIFA's archive shows, losing 1-0 to France. Ronaldo's best tournament result to date, achieved at the very start of his World Cup career. Portugal failed to advance past the round of 16 at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. FIFA's official records confirm, eliminated by eventual champion Spain. Portugal were eliminated in the group stage at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, FIFA's archive shows. Ronaldo's worst World Cup result, with Portugal finishing 3rd in a group behind Germany and the United States. Portugal reached the round of 16 at the 2018 World Cup in Russia, FIFA's official records confirm. Eliminated by Uruguay despite Ronaldo scoring 4 goals across the group stage, including a hat-trick against Spain that FIFA's technical study group described as one of the standout individual performances
Diego
of that
Costa.
tournament.
Out by Diego Costa. Here's Isco. Here's Isco. Steps away from Bernardo Silva. Silva. Alba. Isco. Alba. Silva. Persistence from Spain. Now it might drop for the shot. Here. Oh, what a shot! Nacho!
Portugal reached the quarterfinal at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, FIFA's archive confirms. Ronaldo's deepest tournament run since 2006, ending in a 1-0 defeat to Morocco, with Ronaldo controversially left out of the starting lineup for that match by manager Fernando Santos. Across 5 tournaments, Portugal's best result with Ronaldo in the squad is the 2006 semi-final. Ronaldo's furthest progression came at age 21, in his very first World Cup, and Portugal have not matched that result in the 4 tournaments since. Portugal's national team across Ronaldo's World Cup career has consistently been built around a smaller pool of world-class attacking talent than the squads that have actually won the tournaments Ronaldo competed in, according to comparative squad analysis published by Opta Sports. Spain's 2010 World Cup winning squad, FIFA's official records confirm, included Xavi, André Iniesta, David Villa, Fernando Torres, Sergio Ramos, and Iker Casillas. 6 players who would each go on to be recognized among the greatest in their respective positions of their generation, all peaking simultaneously for the same national team. Spain's squad that year is widely cited, including in FIFA's own technical study group, Retrospective, as one of the most complete international squads ever assembled, built around the Barcelona core that had already dominated European club football for several seasons before the tournament. Germany's 2014 World Cup winning squad, FIFA's archive confirms, included Manuel Neuer, Philipp Lahm, Toni Kroos, Mesut Ozil, Thomas Müller, and Bastian Schweinsteiger. A squad the Guardian's tournament retrospective described as possessing depth at every position rather than dependence on a single dominant individual. Germany's victory that year, by a 7-1 semi-final scoreline against host nation Brazil, demonstrated a collective tactical and technical superiority that BBC Sports coverage at the time attributed specifically to squad-wide quality rather than any single standout performer. France's 2018 World Cup winning squad, FIFA's records confirm, included Kylian Mbappé, Antoine Griezmann, Paul Pogba, N'Golo Kanté, and Hugo Lloris. Again, multiple world-class players across multiple positions rather than a single talisman. 19-year-old Mbappe's emergence that tournament added a generational talent to an already deep squad, giving France attacking options at multiple positions simultaneously. Portugal's squads across the same period, by contrast, have been built more heavily around Ronaldo individually, according to BBC Sports' recurring tournament analysis. with talented but less consistently dominant supporting players such as Pepe, João Moutinho, Bernardo Silva, and later Bruno Fernandes, rarely matching the simultaneous multi-position excellence of the squads that have actually won the trophy during Ronaldo's career. Opta Sports Squad Strength Index, which aggregates individual player ratings into a team-wide score, has consistently placed Portugal below the eventual tournament winner in 4 of Ronaldo's 5 World Cup campaigns. A gap the index attributes primarily to fewer world-class options in central midfield and central defense relative to Spain, Germany, France, and Argentina across their respective winning campaigns. The specific knockout stage opponents Portugal have faced across Ronaldo's 5 tournaments form a pattern that FIFA's own historical seeding data confirms has been unusually difficult relative to typical knockout draws. Portugal's 2006 semi-final opponent was France. FIFA's records confirm a France squad featuring Zinedine Zidane in what was Zidane's final tournament, a side that went on to reach the final itself. Portugal's 2010 round of 16 opponent was Spain. FIFA's archive confirms the eventual tournament champions met by Portugal at the earliest possible knockout stage rather than later in the competition.
Against Spain?
Well, a very, very small chance, I would think. But yeah, I mean, it has a chance. The sort of fascinating thing about this game is that it's really a sort of study in contrasts. Spain, the Spanish style of short passing game is really the sort of embodiment of the team ethos in soccer, whereas Portugal is very much a team based around one outstanding individual talent in Cristiano Ronaldo. So,
Portugal's 2018 round of 16 opponent was Uruguay. FIFA's records confirm Uruguay side built around Luis Suarez and Edinson Cavani that reached the quarterfinal that year. Portugal's 2022 quarterfinal opponent was Morocco. FIFA's archive confirms the first African nation in World Cup history to reach a semi-final, a side BBC Sports tournament coverage described as the standout defensive team of that entire World Cup. Across 4 of Ronaldo's 5 tournaments, FIFA's seeding and bracket data shows Portugal drawing knockout stage opponents who were either the eventual champions, a tournament semi-finalist, or a historically overperforming side. A pattern Opta Sports draw difficulty analysis, which retroactively rates the strength of opponents faced relative to typical bracket positioning, ranks among the more difficult, sustained knockout paths of any elite player across the same period. The data does not support the idea that Ronaldo's individual performance was the primary reason for Portugal's tournament exits. And this is the section of the analysis where the popular narrative most clearly diverges from FIFA's own statistics. Ronaldo's 12 World Cup goals, FIFA's official archive confirms, were scored across 22 matches. A rate of 0.55 goals per match that places him ahead of Diego Maradona's career rate and only narrowly behind Lionel Messi's, as covered in this channel's earlier comparison of the 4 greatest World Cup players by the numbers. Ronaldo's 2018 group stage hat-trick against Spain, FIFA's technical study group confirmed at the time, was scored against a Spanish defense anchored by Sergio Ramos and Gerard Piqué, both established as among the best central defensive partnerships in the world at that point. The Guardian's match report from that game described Ronaldo's performance as a one-man rescue act that single-handedly secured a draw Portugal otherwise would have lost. Portugal's 2022 quarterfinal defeat to Morocco is the one match across all 5 tournaments where Ronaldo's individual involvement is most directly debated, because manager Fernando Santos left Ronaldo out of the starting lineup entirely. FIFA's official match record confirms Ronaldo entered as a substitute in the second half. BBC Sports coverage of the decision noted that Santos's choice was widely criticized by Portuguese media at the time, with several pundits arguing the team performed better tactically with Ronaldo on the bench, meaning even in the one tournament exit most directly associated with a Ronaldo-specific decision. The data point in question is a managerial substitution choice, not a statement about Ronaldo's underlying output. Lionel Messi, Argentina's captain, provides the clearest direct comparison available, since Messi's and Ronaldo's World Cup careers ran almost exactly in parallel, both debuting in 2006, both playing 5 tournaments through 2022, as covered in detail in this channel's earlier 10-category statistical comparison of the 2 players. Messi reached 2 World Cup finals, FIFA's official records confirm. In 2014, where Argentina lost to Germany, and in 2022, where Argentina won against France on penalties. Messi's path to those finals is itself instructive. Argentina's 2014 squad, FIFA's archive confirms, included Angel Di Maria, Javier Mascherano, and Sergio Aguero, a squad with more simultaneous world-class talent around Messi than Portugal typically fielded around Ronaldo in the same era, according to Opta Sports comparative squad strength data for that tournament. Argentina's 2022 title-winning run, FIFA's records confirm, included a deeper supporting cast featuring Julian Alvarez, Rodrigo de Paul, and Emiliano Martinez. Again, a squad the Guardian's tournament analysis described as building meaningfully around Messi rather than depending on him as the sole point of individual quality, the way Portugal's squads have more consistently done around Ronaldo. The direct implication, according to the combined squad strength and draw difficulty data reviewed in this video, is that the gap between Messi reaching 2 finals and Ronaldo reaching 0 is explained substantially by supporting cast quality and knockout stage opponent difficulty, factors largely outside either individual players' direct control, rather than by any measurable difference in the two players' individual World Cup output, where Ronaldo's goals per match rate, as established in Factor 3, remains competitive with Messi's across their respective careers. Ronaldo's 5 World Cups span an unusually wide age range. 21 years old in 2006 to 37 years old in 2022, FIFA's official records confirm. Ronaldo's national team's best tournament result, the 2006 semi-final, occurred at the very beginning of his career, before he had developed into the player widely regarded as his generation's most complete goal scorer. By the time Ronaldo's individual quality peaked, in roughly the 2014 to 2018 period, according to Opta Sports' career-long performance index, Portugal's supporting squad had not necessarily peaked simultaneously. The squad strength data referenced in Factor 1 shows Portugal's collective squad rating was actually marginally higher in 2006, when a generation including Deco, Luis Figo, and a young Ronaldo combined experienced veterans with emerging talent than in several of the tournaments that followed. This timing mismatch, Ronaldo's individual peak not aligning precisely with Portugal's collective squad peak, is a pattern the Guardian's long-form analysis of the golden generation question in Portuguese football has discussed directly. Portugal's only major tournament victory during the Ronaldo era, the UEFA Euro 2016 title, also occurred with Ronaldo not finishing the final due to injury, substituted in the first half, with Portugal winning 1-0 in extra time after Ronaldo had left the pitch, reinforcing the broader pattern that Portugal's best results have correlated more closely with squad cohesion and tactical organization than with any single match-defining individual contribution from Ronaldo himself.
First ever victory for Portugal in a big tournament. We no longer have the beautiful game of previous teams, but finally we won ugly, but we won. Finally.
Thank you. I'm Blanca, I'm from Spain, and I am really disappointed with my with my team because we were defending the title and we didn't play well, and I think our team needs changes because we have no desire to winning.
I'm Yasmina.
Bringing together the 5 factors examined in this video, FIFA's official statistical archive and the comparative analysis from Opta Sports, BBC Sport, and The Guardian point toward a conclusion that is more nuanced than either of the 2 popular narratives about Ronaldo's World Cup career. The first popular narrative, that Ronaldo failed at the World Cup relative to his club career, is not supported by his individual statistical output, which Factor 3 establishes as genuinely elite across all 5 tournaments, competitive with Messi's own rate, and including specific peak individual performances such as the 2018 hat-trick against Spain. The second popular narrative, that Ronaldo's World Cup record is simply bad luck with no underlying explanation, is also not fully supported. The data in Factors 1, 2, and 5 shows a specific, identifiable, and consistent pattern. Portugal's squads during Ronaldo's career have measurably trailed the squad strength of the teams that actually won each tournament. Portugal's knockout stage draws have been measurably more difficult than average across 4 of 5 tournaments, and Ronaldo's individual peak years did not align precisely with Portugal's collective squad peak. The honest, data-supported answer to this video's title question is structural rather than personal. Cristiano Ronaldo has never reached a World Cup final because the team built around him, across 16 years and 5 tournaments, never simultaneously achieved the combination of squad depth, favorable knockout draw, and tactical cohesion that every other finalist during that period achieved at least once. Ronaldo himself did not underperform relative to the individual standard he set everywhere else in his career. Cristiano Ronaldo, should Ronaldo feature for Portugal at the FIFA World Cup 2026 currently underway, would be playing his 6th World Cup tournament at 41 years old, according to the official Portuguese Football Federation squad announcement, an age that FIFA's own historical records confirm would make Ronaldo the oldest outfield player in World Cup history at the time of any match he plays in this tournament. Portugal's current squad, per the Portuguese Football Federation's official announcement for the 2026 tournament, is built around a different generational core than Ronaldo's earlier World Cups, including Bruno Fernandes, Ruben Dias, and a younger supporting cast that Opta Sports pre-tournament squad strength rating places among the stronger Portuguese World Cup squads of the Ronaldo era specifically because of this depth, independent of Ronaldo's own individual contribution at this stage of his career. Whether the specific combination identified in this video's analysis, sufficient squad depth, a navigable knockout draw, and tactical cohesion arriving simultaneously, finally aligns for Portugal in this tournament is something only the actual results of the 2026 World Cup can answer. What the data reviewed in this video does establish clearly is that the absence of a Ronaldo World Cup final across his first 5 tournaments has a specific, identifiable, multi-factor explanation rooted in squad and draw circumstances, not a simple verdict on the player himself. 12 goals, 5 tournaments, 16 years, 0 finals. The numbers are genuinely unusual for a player of Ronaldo's individual quality, and this video has not tried to argue otherwise. FIFA's own statistical archive, combined with comparative analysis from Opta Sports, BBC Sport, and The Guardian, actually shows that the explanation lives in the team built around Ronaldo and the opponents placed in front of him, not in any measurable decline in his own output, which by every individual metric examined in this video remained elite across all 5 tournaments he played. The data has an answer to this video's title question. The answer is simply more complicated than either he failed or he was just unlucky. And the full, honest version of that answer is what this video has tried to lay out, fact by fact, source by source. Subscribe for more World Cup data deep dives, and let us know in the comments whether you think 2026 finally changes this record.